Hello there, welcome to Twice. This is a video about the upcoming exact conjunction between Saturn and Pluto, January 12, 2020. This is a 22nd degree conjunction. Usually I do mind the degree according to the degree theory, and this is, as you know, if you follow me, it's not a very nice degree. It's degree of Capricorn that has to do with murder and death, but Capricorn in general is of course about government, the military, big corporations, power and control, and also it's our ability to take control over our own situation, to create our own path and freedom. And I also checked out those years where there have been other conjunctions between Pluto and Saturn in the past, but there weren't any recent during this century in Capricorn, and none of them was 22nd degree, but other softer degrees. But so I must assume that this conjunction could be more powerful and maybe a little bit tragic, but still Capricorn has the ability to restrict, and therefore it can restrict the problem. And if I just go over what I believe this conjunction can bring, I can keep this presentation short and to the point. Saturn is government and control, but it's a little bit more real. Pluto is very similar in a way because it's also control and power, but it's more psychological. So you have two different ways in which these planets operate to gain power. Saturn is more direct, you know that there are these norms, these rules, this is the government, you have to obey, and so on, while Pluto says, yeah, you can do whatever you want, but goes behind your back and tries to control and manipulate you psychologically or mess you up mentally and so on. And Pluto is also associated with all kinds of poisons, with the medical field, because in esoteric astrology it's the ruler of this at the soul level of Pisces. So Pisces rules the field of medicine, of course, with Virgo. Pluto can create, poisons, but on the positive, maybe it can cure diseases, it can create pain relief medication and so on. Therefore, I believe that there could be during this because of this conjunction some danger regarding chemicals, poisons, maybe oil spills, or any kind of chemical polluting the earth or the water, or used as weapons in war. At the same time, Saturn can impose regulations, and this conjunction can have its positive sides as well, because if something bad happens, then governments might say these are horrible crimes against humanity, or these are war crimes, or we can't let these chemicals free because they can be misused for other kinds of purpose, and then the government can go in and limit the access to certain chemicals and so on, including poisonous gases. Another thing that can happen is because of this conjunction, maybe in 2020 even, what could happen could be establishing like a new hospital or a new cure, or because one wants to eradicate some kind of disease. Could be Zika virus or something else, maybe some government or or some other type of authority, could be a medical authority that decides that now we have to stop this disease forever, so let's quarantine, let's really take note of everything, really research it, really get funding and so on. So this is another thing that could happen. Other types of institutions and corporations that could have great future impact can be established, and I noticed in previous years that because of or around this Saturn Pluto conjunctions, great newspapers like the New York Times were established, and maybe it's because of Pluto's influence, because some journalism is very investigative, it's really influential as well, and newspapers have the possibility to influence you subtly, influence your opinions and your beliefs and your belief system and your political views and so on. And this is also, but of course, Saturn in conjunction to Pluto could create both situations where some newspaper, let's say, or opinion building type of organization or corporations is establishing itself, or it is limiting certain types of ideas or manipulation tactics, like Facebook. You have Facebook that doesn't want to restrict political propaganda that is based on lies, while Twitter does the opposite. So this could also be an effect of this Pluto Saturn conjunction. So you have people using these energies for good or for bad, because both are possible. Maybe Pluto can also reveal some stuff that is well hidden. There's a possibility that some countries, some governments keep secrets about abuses, about corruption, whatever it is. But Saturn will make this process difficult and slow, and it will try to restrict some of the truth, if not all. And anytime any kind of government is going to make decisions regarding the poor, the homeless, women, minorities, blacks, immigrants, the working class, or any other group that where there is inequality, or where there is injustice, even gays and so on, government could turn very conservative, and they might not want to give these people more rights or create better conditions for them. Other problems could be problems because of overload of all kinds. Could be emotional overload, as in psychological problems, could be some oil spills, could be some kind of other reaction, could be a chemical reaction, or some other type of reaction that creates fire or explosions. And also overproduction. Pluto is about being rich. It's very rich, resourceful. It goes down in the ground, and it can bring up, like oil, which has made many countries rich, or gold or diamonds and so on. But when there is too much, there's a problem, because the value decreases. The same when there's a lot of overproduction. When you have too much of one thing, the price will fall, and it can create some depression and so on, or some type of financial problems. So this could also be create difficulties, and maybe governments will try to regulate. Another problem is fear mongering, but also maybe because of politics, but also because of other reasons, because of climate change, and some fear mongering might be even true, especially if there's a lot of flooding. I noticed also that times around these conjunctions, things are sinking, like boats, and maybe land is sinking, maybe there's a lot of flooding, and maybe the power of Saturn can restrict the damage, can make sure that there is not so much flooding. So this could also be something. Stress and fear can also create problems, because if people are very stressed out, very afraid, they can do mistakes, they can make mistakes, they can so it can create all kinds of dangers also because of psychological problems, of course. Even terrorist attacks using chemicals, especially Uranus is more about bombs maybe, but when it comes to Pluto, it's more chemicals. Maybe anthrax had been used, also some type of mustard gas when it comes to Syria, and so on. So there could be a lot of warnings about the future of the earth. Publications, very important and powerful publications, could be made as well, like this could be literature as well, like in one case, it was Michael Jackson that released Thriller in 82. Was it 82 that there was a conjunction between Saturn and Pluto, and it had like great impact. This was in Libra at 27 degrees, and in 1851 or 1883, I don't know, with Taurus, Moby Dick, which is a classic, was published. So you can also have this great works of art, in a sense. Even music can be regarded as that. It becomes a classic. If there is no real war in Iran, there could be a cold war, there is trade war. People are seeking independence and freedom at the same time, but it's hard won. So I think that those people and countries that will gain their independence or freedom, some people might be freed even from prisons or from other types of difficult situations. It's hard won. People have struggled for a very long time and finally got here. This is all. Remember that you can use these energies for good and for bad, and we have to learn to deal with all kinds of energies, and we do it by choosing the right path and also trying to find balance, because Saturn is also the esoteric ruler in esoteric astrology of Libra. So Saturn cares about balance, inner balance, and with Pluto there, the planet of psychology, it can attain that type of balance. Thank you for watching. See you next time.